understand Phil doesn't agree with that assessment. And I love that you call her Lee.
That's right. I said, she's not a nat.
Cease and desist. I remember getting the giggles and tongue-tied when I was younger when saying Aunt Nat and Aunt Not. Although being the wayward, blue-blooded princes and princesses we were, according to Mom, our mom, Aunt Natalie, was the way to go. As a result, I often thought, if I was blessed enough to have a little girl, which we didn't, but I would name her Natalie. Just something about the name. I've never known another Natalie personally, but think of Natalie Wood and the substantial presence she and my aunt had. Aunt Natalie had a distinctive physical presence with her captivating blue eyes and smile. She had a clarity in her voice. And while an army brat who traveled and lived all over the world, her pleasant East Coast accent came through. As she spoke her mind, I could just tell that she trusted her voice. What a nice thing, to trust your voice. I think, and affectionately so, she would be an 8 on the Enneagram. The Enneagram is an ancient personality typing system using the numbers 1 to 9. Maybe some of you know. And the 8 personality is also known as the boss. I like listening to what Natalie said and how she said it. The way she said Herbie, carrying something about her dad and brother in it, made me proud. And with a little nasal flair and the invitation to listen with certainty in her voice. I like the certainty, the matter-of-factness. I think partly because of the multiple suicides in the family, including my dad and hers. Certainty was good for me, an anchor, an opinion to hang something on, to get my teeth into, or at the very least something to bump up against. The woman was alive, and enthusiastically so. I can hear her saying now, well, Herbie, that's because she could turn on that masculine energy and know how to navigate around men, I thought. Well, at least this man. We had a neat relationship. I'd call her from time to time just to check in. I think another reason I dug her way of being is that she didn't do much bullshitting. Now, I know I'm going to get some blowback here. As Jeannie, my mom, and Nat could be master storytellers, right? And surely Nat interpreted things her own way in keeping with family lore, but it never seemed like bullshit to me around the things we talked about. And let's face it, we've all got some bullshit. I love talking to her also because I got to see her mom, our Nana, in her. And never knowing her dad, my grandfather, or granddaddy as we called him, because he died 5 months after my birth in 1954, I got to interpolate what Colonel Herbert McChrystal, the man for whom I was named, must have been like through her. Thank you, dear Natalie. My mom and Natalie had a tumultuous and ongoing sibling rivalry as I understand it. Come to think of it, they rather traded roles as the eldest and middle child energies, I think. Mom, the oldest, with her self-doubt and people-pleasing ways, often like the middle child, and I resemble those remarks, dear Mom. And Natalie, the middle child with her mascot and family hero energy, more like the classic oldest child energy. Their little brother, my Uncle Bud, was truly the prince of the family.
Yes, he was.
And the two older girls vied for attention in the ways and strategies that came naturally to each. But behind all of it, the military lifestyle and regimentation therein, they loved each other palpably and dearly. They had each other's backs. I sensed a precious vulnerability in each of them, and I feel graced to be reared by each in their own ways, to be reared by such dignified human beings. For example, the way Natalie took the reins steadily when her first husband, Dr. John Overman, died. The way each of them did with their individual family tragedies is really quite remarkable. And apart from Natalie's welcome visits with her sister and mom and us on the West Coast, she was always there when we and Mom needed her, like after our dad died, or after one of Mom's surgeries, or any time we need, she was always there. I often regret not asking more questions. As more emerge, as I get older, I regret not asking Nana and Mom, Nat and Bud, questions that would help me round out the understanding of this proud McChrystal family. I'm sure a common regret for most when and after people pass. And since we McChrystal cousins, or is it us McChrystal cousins, look up so infrequently.
She would correct you.
Right.
The way it was.
So would Mom, and so would Jane.
We. I'll correct you.
Let me start over. And since us McChrystal cousins, I still have a lot of dots. These dots connect. So finally, this is the hard part. You know, crying is a little bit like throwing up, isn't it? So finally, my son, Jordan McChrystal Bell, my middle son, who wanted me to be here today, was in a terrible auto accident just last Sunday. He is narrowly escaping losing his life. Not being severely brain damaged and neurologically compromised is nothing short of a miracle. So I don't mind telling you, I evoked the spiritual presence, there's Jordy. I evoked the spiritual presence of all of his dearly departed McChrystal Bell ancestors when, in those intensive care hours, in that beeping room, there's that beeping room, in that beeping room where I was so afraid for Jordy's life just last week, and not the least of which was his great aunt, Natalie McChrystal Overman Eulogy. I'm convinced she,
Somebody wants you
Jay,
can't get that thing.
were part of this miracle, convinced by the way she and her brother and sister lived and lived well, with each of them to the very, very end of their life, to the last breath of their life. Each one of them, it was remarkable. Thank you, Aunt Natalie. What I've come to know is that these spiritually human relationships continue and deepen even after the passing of a loved one. I can't wait to continue to nourish my relationship with my Aunt Natalie as she helps me connect more of these proud McChrystal family dots. I love you, Ann. Paul, Nancy, and John. And I love you, Mom. Because I will continue to do so for the rest of